So there's a lot of differences in the sort of paddles we use, and some people will call them oars. They're called paddles. And so this paddle here is our kids' paddle that we like to use. You can tell the difference that these two paddles have in the grip. And so this is called a pear-shaped grip. So you grab over top of it, where this is a T-grip. And why we use T-grips or pear grips, any sort of grip, is to be able to make sure we can control the blade in the water, and we know what we are actually doing to affect the boat by these movements. And so what you'll see a lot of new paddlers doing is grabbing below the blade and paddling like this, but you do want to be holding that T grip or that pear grip nice and high. This paddle here is my personal paddle made by a good friend of mine, Jeff, who runs a company called Dam Goods and Gear. And he handmade this paddle for me out of all reclaimed wood. He did an amazing job with it. It'll float in the water, it won't sink, so that's an awesome piece of it. And then this is a bent shaft paddle, so you can see here that this paddle is bent. What that allows us to do as we paddle is to be able to get a more vertical paddle for a longer amount of time. And so as I'm putting my blade in the water and doing a stroke, that blade is nice and flat up until my hip. And a lot of paddling techniques have been redesigned through the Olympics in trying to figure out what's the most efficient paddle stroke possible. Next paddle we have two kayak paddles here. So we've got this wood one also made by my friend Jeff. But this thing is really heavy, but it's a gorgeous, wonderful experience, and you're more than welcome to come out and try it out on the creek. But you're definitely gonna get a nice arm workout during the day. But all of these paddles too, you'll notice that they have an offset to them. And so if you're looking down the barrel of them, this has about a 30-degree offset. And so in the same way, you talked about, a lot of it is based off of the Olympic idea of making the most efficient stroke possible. And so as we paddle on our right, the blade is nice and flat, but we need to cock our wrist to be able to get that stroke on our left side and have that blade be flat in the water. And you'll find different offsets. Some of our paddles have a 45-degree offset. Some of them have just a 30-degree offset. And then this paddle is a paddle I usually use. And so this is a carbon fiber shaft and a fiberglass blade. And so it's a really lightweight paddle. So as you paddle throughout the day, you're not getting tired from it. It's very efficient, has a nice scoop on the blade. And it's also a bent shaft paddle. And so what that allows us to do in the same way that the canoe paddle works is to get a further catch and get a more vertical blade as we are going through our power stroke on the river there. So all four very different paddles. And we have plenty of more to come out and try.